My name's Tyler Hobbs. I'm a generative artist from Austin, Texas. I create my artwork through code, through custom algorithms. I write code that generates artwork. This work comes out of an idea that I've been playing with and playing around for about 10 years now. I've always had an interest in mark making and in finding ways with code to kind of capture the freeness and the surprise that we find in mark making made by hand. And it's an interesting challenge because the code, it has to be very concrete, it has to be very systematic, and we kind of tend to think of that as being at odds with the freedom of the hand. So I'm interested in finding ways that even systematically we can achieve results that are really surprising and feel fresh and exciting to us. The way that the scribbling happens is like it happens in loops, and like the center of the loop moves around, and the loops get longer, they get shorter, the center of them drifts. There's all this variety that happens in different ways. There tends to be a sort of pattern to it in some way. It's a very curious pattern, and so from like a code and algorithm perspective, I'm curious about what are the variables and how do the variables change over time and how are they correlated. This is sort of like a pattern matching way to think about scribbling. So that was something that helped to inspire the mark making for this piece. This body of work, it's a relatively small set. It's a dozen pieces. They're all very carefully selected by me. I've run the algorithm thousands of times and selected just these dozen outputs, and that makes the work very personal to me. It's a lot of it's about what resonates with me. In the history of my work, I don't tend to stay in one place for too long. I don't really tend to repeat myself. I'm always interested in exploring something that I haven't really explored before, and so the previous work that I made, Day Gardens, is this very contemplative, minimal, compositional piece, and this work is, very chaotic and maximalist and explores a very different kind of energy. And there's something about really shifting my interest constantly that keeps me motivated and interested in my work. We don't tend to associate this kind of richness of mark making and movement with digital art, especially with art that's created through code. So it is unusual to a lot of people to see this kind of organic quality in the work, and I like that with this approach the work ends up in this sort of ambiguous space where it has these very organic qualities, but it also has these very systematic digital qualities to it too, and you can find both if you look carefully. I think that's a very interesting space for the artwork to live in.